Alright guys, so a few months back, Discord was saying that they were pushing out their requirement for the age checker, which was basically the way to see what your face ID was, photo ID, passport, whatever else it might be, and then basically they get that information. Well, recently Reddit as well also decided to go down that route and say, hey, we want to see what your ID is in order to verify who you are. Now, the catch behind this is they're not rolling out to everyone, they're rolling out to those who they believe it is necessary to. So say, for example, you start working or looking at NSFW content, they might send a notification, be like, hey, are you really from 2001? So that's pretty much has been rolling out. Now, for the Discord side of things are a little bit different. Discord has recently said that they're only doing it for about 10% of the public. However, people are starting to get more pop-ups asking for verification. This has been kind of linked towards an SFW kind of Discord-like channels with lots of those sort of things, but overall, it is still being pushed nonetheless. Now, in addition to that, however, in the most recent coming of months, those who gave Discord their information and their IDs and everything else had their information leaked. Over 70,000 people's identifications just got leaked onto the internet. Now, I don't know about you, but that got me interested in what the alternatives were instead of using Discord. Now, obviously, you and your buddies are going to probably have a hard time because you're going to be that one nerd who's like, hey, dude, let's all move our entire group chats and everything else to this other group. And they're all going to look at you like you're just some lunatic, and why not just, use Discord? So what if they want your ID? Well, if you want your information out on the internet, good luck convincing your friends, because that's pretty much what you have to do. So I took a look into it, and nevertheless, I found Stoat. Stoat is a really interesting program because it allows you to use something that looks or feels similar to Discord, essentially, on your own local server or machine. Not only that, but it can also act like Discord, where you don't even have to self-host it. You can just create a server, and they actually care about your privacy. Stoat used to be called Revolt, but then they changed their name over to Stoat. And trust me, you have no idea how many times I thought the name was Stroke, but indeed, it is Stoat. Or Stoat. Sorry. Anyways, what I did essentially is I installed this program. I went through their entire how-to guide on their GitHub. It was super straightforward, easy to go. You can install it on your server, but now here's the catch to it. So typically, you would see something like this, where you'd have the very top, after, of course, you log in with your Stoat for the very first time, and you'd have your different servers and such. Now, if you had, for example, local hosted as well, then you would have to reinstall Stoat entirely and then run that said Stoat in order to be able to connect. There was no sort of URL to where you can just essentially be able to be on both at the same time. Now, when I started Stoat, I thought that was pretty stupid. So, what did I do? I used the power of AI. So now there's this side. So here you have your live server that you can essentially reload or remove instance, and then you have your local server. And just like that, you're able to swap between the live version of Stoat, which actually has all these different servers and such that you can look at and configure with its own character or username, everything else. And then you also have your local side, which is, as you can see, specifically for your house and such. In addition to that, you're also able to add more. So, where do you want to add a server? Then you can just register a new instance, and boom, now you have another one on top of that. Now, I've also tried to make it as well to where, for example, you can edit the coloring as well, but at the time of making this video, it's not going to be, of course, right here, but you're also able to. I've also slimmed it down a wee little bit, and naturally, I've also made it to where you're able to collapse this piece. I was experimenting with it a little bit more, so I kind of broke mine here for a second. But you can see here inside of my main one that it is indeed collapsible, that you're able to change the colors, you're able to rename your different instances to whatever you like, you're able to do what you choose. And it's here on my GitHub, and I'll put a link down in the description. In addition to that, if you don't want this, you can also have the multi-instance version, where you can actually just switch between two different instances or have multiple running by just right-clicking Stoat inside the system tray, and from there you can open it up how you please. I thought this was a huge contribution towards Stoat. I'm hoping that eventually they add something like this in, but until they do it officially, you're able to use my fork. It's off of the latest version of Stoat, and just have at it. This will allow us to be able to create completely new communities, as well as be able to control our own private communities that are hosted on our server. So, my name is Matthew Pierre. If you like this video, make sure to...
Never ever fall for a party that's a no. Just pop the Kenny about a million options, so just talking.